All right, let's get right into it. This week in music has been, well, an absolute whirlwind. We've seen some incredible highs, some devastating lows, and a whole lot of debate. It's been a lot to process.
And you know what? This quote right here absolutely nails it. It perfectly sets the stage for everything we're about to cover. So, yeah, it's been an emotional roller coaster for sure. Buckle up. So, we have to start this off on a pretty somber note. We've got some truly heartbreaking news that has just shaken the entire world of rock and metal.
Yeah, the community was just stunned this week by the tragic passing of Mastodon's iconic lead guitarist, Brent Hinz. He was only 51 years old, and the news sent just absolute shockwaves everywhere.
Now, Brent wasn't just a guitarist. He was a co-founder of the band way back in 2000 and really one of its main creative engines. Police reports say he was killed when a car collided with his Harley-Davidson. And what just makes this whole thing even tougher is the timing. It came just a few months after he had announced he was leaving the band, which makes it feel so sudden. His bandmates released this statement, and you can just feel the raw pain in those words. It's a heavy reminder of the huge impact he had, not just on their sound, but on their lives. A true creative force gone way too soon. But like we said, this week was a roller coaster. And from that deep sadness, the mood just completely flipped with a bunch of announcements that have people incredibly excited about live music again. So what's all the buzz about? Well, the Good Things Festival just dropped its massive lineup for 2025. And look at these headliners. We're talking about the legendary Tool, plus alternative rock giants Weezer and Garbage. It's a seriously stacked lineup that pulls from all different corners of the rock world. And to really get why the Tool announcement is such a huge deal, you have to look at the history here. They haven't headlined a festival in Australia since the Big Day Out back in 2011. For fans down under, this isn't just another concert. It's the long-awaited return of a band that's been missing from their festival scene for over a decade. That festival news was huge, but believe it or not, the comeback announcements didn't stop there. So get ready for a serious dose of nostalgia, because this next one is for everyone who grew up with 90s pop. Yep, that number is 5, as in the British boy band Five. They are getting back together. And this isn't just some partial reunion. No way. We're talking all 5 original members on one stage for the first time in a quarter of a century. And they are coming back to Australia in a really big way. The Keep On Moving tour is hitting arenas all across the country in May of 2026. After 25 years, I think seeing Jason J. Brown back on stage with the other guys is something a lot of fans honestly thought they'd never ever see again. And the good news for live music just kept on coming. One more legendary band revealed a tour that isn't just a return, it's the start of a completely new chapter for them. Linkin Park is heading back to Australia for the first time since 2013. This tour is just monumental because it's their first with their new vocalist, Emily Armstrong, 7 years after the tragic death of Chester Bennington. The demand has been so absolutely off the charts that they added extra dates almost immediately. It's a huge moment for the band and their fans. Okay, so we've had tragedy and we've had triumph. Now for that final twist in the roller coaster, a story that's got music, sports, and a whole lot of public opinion all tangled up together. That's right, the one and only Snoop Dogg is set to perform. The AFL announced that the West Coast rap legend himself will be the pre-game entertainment for their biggest event of the entire year. And this announcement immediately split public opinion right down the middle. On one side, people are calling it a major coup, a huge win for the AFL to get a global superstar like Snoop. But on the other side, the criticism came in hot and fast, with many pointing to some of the homophobic and misogynistic lyrics in his music catalog. Now, to understand the backlash, you really need the context. This news dropped right after a prominent AFL player got suspended for using a homophobic slur on the field. So critics are asking, how does booking an artist with a history of controversial lyrics square with the AFL's values, especially for an event they market to families? For their part, the AFL is definitely trying to get ahead of this. The league's boss, Andrew Dillon, came out with this assurance, promising everyone that the performance will be totally family-friendly. The big question is, will that be enough to calm down the concerns? So, after a week that swung from mourning to pure celebration and then straight into controversy, what can we take away from all this? What does it tell us about where the music world is at right now? Well, it seems to come down to 3 big things.
First, the reaction to Brent Hinds' death shows us that when we lose a music icon, that grief is felt instantly and deeply by the whole community. Second, the insane demand for all these tours proves that the appetite for live music is just absolutely ravenous right now. And finally, the whole Snoop Dogg debate is a perfect example of how when music and big cultural events collide, it can spark some really complex, maybe even uncomfortable conversations.
Which kind of leaves us with this final thought. We've seen a creative legacy tragically cut short, a nostalgic comeback 25 years in the making, and a modern controversy playing out in real time. It really makes you wonder, in today's music world, which of these forces, legacy, comeback, or controversy, is truly the most powerful? It's definitely something to think about.